7 bouts over Lehigh, somebody they have not beaten this century, and a really good fit for the Lions. And as we reach up to 184, a very good spot in the lineup. Aaron Ayzerov for the Lions, the sophomore, at 184 pounds, had a pin against Princeton last week over number 8, Tate Samuelson, who was as physical as any for the Lehigh Mountain Hawks. Samuelson, the Wyoming transfer, a 4-time NCAA qualifier, his first season for the grad student in Bethlehem, PA. Somebody who's been around the block, is 11-7, who's 88-44 in his career. Finished second in the Big 12 in 2021. Finished with 77 wins with Wyoming. Ayzerov breaking free is definitely a task for Ayzerov against Tate Samuelson, ranked as high as number 18, and somebody who has just been a lot of exposure. And Ayzerov for the sophomore, this is a really good bout that you kind of measure up in, almost as a good measuring stick bout.
Definitely. And Aaron is an aggressive wrestler. You know, he's really good in the ties, and he's able to control these matches by, you know, the pace that he sets.
So Samuelson locked up with Ayzerov. Ayzerov trying to bend over. Columbia's won the last 3 wrestling classes dating back to the 157. And he head up to 184, basically all but guaranteeing the win, should anything, barring anything, any major decisions, pins. But Columbia looks like they're on their way, trending in that victory direction with Ayzerov. Samuelson trying to roll the wrist, but Ayzerov just bridging down, and Samuelson almost had him in somewhat of a wheelbarrow, and as Ayzerov was his knee, his right leg almost extended. They're going to stop for stalemate. They'll reset in neutral. Ayzerov 12-6 on the season overall, 2-1 in EIWA duels. If you get a caution against the Lions on Ayzerov, his first. Minute 29 to go in the first period. Ayzerov and Samuelson locked up at 0. Ayzerov trying to roll that wrist of Tate Samuelson, the Castle Rock, Colorado native, in his final year of eligibility for Lehigh. Samuelson tapping the head, resets, breaking around, breaking free is Samuelson. Samuelson now locked up on that left side, trying to, still feeling out Ayzerov. It's a little bit different pace from Samuelson. He likes to go out of up-tempo, and now they get pushed out of bounds, resetting. And they're going to reset in neutral for Samuelson and Ayzerov, both still meeting each other so far. Now Ayzerov trying to pick up the tempo. Ayzerov exposed his portion of his right side, and Samuelson trying to take control of that. Now resets. Ayzerov able to break free of that grasp from Samuelson. Tried to land a shot, but he could not.
Yeah, Aaron's looking to set the pace, find his rhythm on that shot. You know, he kind of went down for a fake or almost a half shot, and Samuelson looked to capitalize on that. Luckily, he's getting back to a leg now, but good defense. And Aaron's one of those guys that as soon as he finds his rhythm, he's able to fire off. But Samuelson is just a seasoned vet and is able to really counter these attacks.
Especially Samuelson just throwing his body, putting it on the line for Ayzerov, but just out of bounds in front of the Lehigh bench. And good fight from Ayzerov, kind of really withstanding the blows. Samuelson, somebody who's been really at the biggest stage, competed in a handful of NCAA tournament competitions. Ayzerov, underclassed with somebody who really is wrestling very physical lately, very tough. He had the pin against Princeton, and now we'll head to the second period. Scoreless between Ayzerov and Samuelson. What have you seen from kind of the early goings of Ayzerov and Samuelson so far?
It seems like Samuelson has had a really good success controlling the tie. He got to his 2-on-1. He got to a short little underhook sequence, and he's able to slow Aaron off. And, Aaron is one of those guys who needs to find his rhythm. So as soon as he's able to clear those ties in neutral position, then he'll be able to kind of find his distance and get to his offense. And Samuelson, if he can keep running with those ties, then he can find his offense, as he already has gotten to the legs a couple times.
So he's got him in the wheelbarrow for his Samuelson for the 2-point reversal. So 2-0 lead for the Mountain Hawks at 184. Samuelson bending that left leg of Ayzerov. The right-left leg intertwined on his left leg, and Ayzerov trying to break free, but Samuelson pushing him down. Readjusting himself too with his legs, using his legs for momentum for his upper body, and Samuelson using that veteran tactic, that veteran mind of his.
And Aaron's going to need to crawl forward to get that leg out. Not exposing his back yet. Samuelson doing a good job of keeping that left leg bent and maintaining good hip pressure to keep him down. And that's what you're kind of looking for in this position.
You get a stalling against Ayzerov for Columbia. So that is the second sequence. So that'll be it'll be a 3-0 lead for Tate Samuelson. For the Mountain Hawks, 40 seconds ago, second period. Lehigh leads the overall score, Columbia leads the overall score 18-6. But Columbia's won the last 3 weight classes from 157 to 174. Ayzerov wrestling against a really tough opponent in Tate Samuelson, top 20 ranked in the country, Wyoming transfer, top 3 finisher at the Big 12 championships a couple seasons ago.
This is just a gnarly position to be in. You know, Samuelson has his legs locked up in a figure 4, and then he comes back out, readjusts the foot, and then locks over and hips in again. And it just cranks on your hips. And then he looks for that cross face, which is, you know, grabbing Aaron's face and trying to bring it over.
Now be it for the second period. It's Tate Samuelson commanding a 3-0 lead. And he also has running time at 90 seconds. It's a good lead for Samuelson, somebody who's been really just controlling the top. And you mentioned that Ayzerov did a good job not exposing his backside, and Samuelson kind of, working on that left side. He's kind of adjusting to that. He sees what Ayzerov is doing, and Ayzerov on the bottom. So it's a good spot for Ayzerov to, if he can stand up, get an escape, get the reversal, he's back in this, and he's definitely still in this as Samuelson now adding to his riding time to start the third period. Ayzerov hunched over, Samuelson trying to backpacking on top of him, really just a surge, swiveling his hips around, rolling around, meeting Ayzerov. Ayzerov trying to, bending his right arm, tying up. Samuelson, Ayzerov trying to steady himself with his left palm, trying to plant the mat, but he can't. Samuelson just adjusting the grip, working on that right side, going right to left on the back of Ayzerov. Had that underarm hook over his arm, forehead, but we have timeout for blood for Samuelson after Ayzerov got the 1-point escape. It's a 3-1 lead for Samuelson with riding time at 2:15.
And they're going to be up on their feet when they come back. It was a good, much better escape, much more active on bottom from Aaron. I think once he blocked off of that first breakdown attempt, he was able to find his rhythm a little bit better and clear those hands, get rid of that foot that was riding him. That position that we saw where he was just stuck on bottom getting cranked on. As soon as he's able to clear that foot, he became a lot more active. And we'll see third period energy is a lot different than the first period energy. So as they go back on their feet, it should be a very interesting matchup.
What adjustments do you think they're talking about in the huddle with Coach Tonelli, with Ayzerov, and kind of seeing what kind of adjustments he can make in the final minute 15?
I think it's going to be being aggressive and being deliberate on that hand fight, not letting Samuelson get to that 2-on-1 or that little underhook, clearing those ties and shooting off of those clears, right? So as soon as you clear a tie, closing that distance instead of clearing those ties, backing out and having to close that distance another way, capitalizing on that.
So play resumes, the minute 10 to go. Samuelson leading by 2 with the riding time at 2:15. Should be locked in favor of the Mountain Hawks. Here at 184, Columbia leads the overall team score 18-6. After winning the previous 3 weight classes from 157 to 174. Ayzerov wrestling up top. Samuelson with his arm wrapped around the right side of Ayzerov's neck, now resetting. Samuelson tiptoeing around. 35 seconds to go in the third period. Ayzerov breaks free, now trying to roll the right wrist of Samuelson. Samuelson pushing forward. Ayzerov trying to just bend the left arm, just trying to, in that just a really tough position for him, but resetting it. Samuelson just wrestling very defensively, knows that trying to close out this bout. Final 10 seconds. Lehigh looking for the first victory since 149. They only have 2 at 133 and 149, and now they do at 184. It's a 4-1 victory for Tate Samuelson, the former Wyoming product, top 2 finisher at the Big 12 championships. Columbia leads 18-9 after 8 bouts. You are watching Ivy League Wrestling on ESPN+.